Welcome to The Joyful Frugalista, the podcast that's all about living a richer life with less. I'm your host, Serina Bird, author and passionate frugalista. In each episode, we'll dive into inspiring stories, practical tips, and joyful conversations that will help you create abundance, embrace mindful spending, and live your best life, all without breaking the bank. So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's explore how being a frugalista can lead to freedom, happiness, and a whole lot of joy. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Hello frugalistas and welcome to today's episode. Today I have a special guest, and today's guest is someone who is very special to me, as he's also someone who knows me quite well. But first, if you love this podcast and find it useful, please pay it forward by liking or commenting. And also join the Joyful Frugalista Facebook group to join in on discussions with like-minded frugalistas. Today, we are going to talk with my husband, Neil Hadley. You want to give another wave, Neil?
Hello, sir. I've got the ring.
Neil's usually the shyer of us two, but I've managed to coax him out, which is great. And
I carry the handbag.
He carries the he does actually. Even this morning when we were at Zumba class together, I turned around and there he was with my lovely op-shopped handbag. And we're going to talk about a few things, including what it's like to be married to a frugalista.
Do you want the truth or the husband answer?
We'll see. We'll get to that. I'll ask you in a moment on whether he's a spender or a saver. We might even have a few battles or a few discussions about who is actually the more frugal. So see how it goes. Anyway, Neil and I met online in 2017. It was sort of just at that phase where meeting people online perhaps wasn't quite as mainstream as it is now. It still had that cachet of people didn't like to talk about it, but we did. We were friends for several months. Then we started dating and we got engaged fairly quickly, I think within 3 months. Then you nearly died of a heart attack, not related to me. But then we got married in September 2018. So what, it's coming up with 9 years now since we started dating?
Yeah, 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2017, 2018
17,
we got married.
Yeah.
So, honey, thank you for being on the podcast and welcome.
Welcome to you too. Nice to be a guest.
Yeah, well, it's lovely to have you as a guest. In the early days of the Joyful Frugalista podcast, Neil was also my podcast editor. And how long did it take on average each episode to edit?
About 4 hours. All the ums and ahs, all the you knows, and some people are worse than others. It's not just a Serina, it's some of the guests, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I used to think I was fabulous, and then I'd done an amazing job, and you were like, no, not from the editing perspective.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. There's no point rehatching that.
So I have to ask, who is more frugal, you or me?
Depends on the situation. If it's shoes, it's you. You buy these crumbly, rubbered, broken things at the salvos that fall apart as soon as you put them on. That's happened twice. Not a bad investment. Or me, I just don't like to waste money. I've always just been careful with it. So I think we're on par. We support each other well. But yeah, just buy some good shoes, sweetie. Your feet are the only thing you've got. You can't replace them.
I do have some good shoes, but I do have some really nice on-the-shop shoes as well. But I agree, it's hit or miss. I think because they're in storage for so long sometimes.
I think that just breaks down. If they've been in storage for 30 years in someone's wardrobe and they clear them out and then they sell them again, the rubber's just all deteriorated and need to go. Yeah, or the synthetic sole.
As you mentioned, twice that's happened to me. I've put them on and I've gone for a walk and then I've gone, what's all this black stuff everywhere? And it's kind of weird because you don't really want to take it back when it's from an op shop because it's for charity, but like clearly they
shouldn't have been sold. Yeah,
they shouldn't have been sold. So it's kind
I had some work boots that did it that I had for ages, like And I wore them the other day around the backyard, and they were crumbling and stuff too. So it just happens to these old souls, you know.
Yeah, exactly. There's a story there about use it or lose it. I had some handbags that I bought, I think sort of just before COVID. There were two in particular, and in the past, you know, I went into work much more often. It was more office-based, and you go in every day, and so having a larger handbag was really important. And now sort of my life has changed, and I tend to have more crossbody handbags. And I actually forgot that I had it, and both of these handbags, which were quite lovely, they both delaminated. So it just felt really sad that I hadn't used them, and then that had happened.
I'm just making sure I got my phone on mute. Sorry, I didn't think about that first.
I'm going to do exactly the same thing.
Okay, sorry. And when you say some handbags, it's not just some handbags, sweetie.
Yeah, I didn't actually realise I had a bit of a handbag obsession until I found a whole box that I had.
Fetish, I would call it.
Yeah, it's weird, and they're not expensive. So that's one way that you are more frugal than me, because you don't have a whole heap of handbags.
No, I've got a lot of backpacks.
You do have a lot of backpacks.
But you did make good money on one, selling it on, so...
Yeah, I did. It was a nice Bali black suede handbag, and I'd forgotten that I had it, like I said, and I sort of went, I've got others, so I won't use it. And it was quite good, the return. So I sold it on consignment, and it was quite good, so...
Yeah.
But quite seriously, though, since we have been together in a relationship, how has our money situation changed?
I'm not living from payday to payday. You know, we've got money, we're building up buffers, we've got emergency funds, we don't stress about it nowadays. You know, in the past I had a bit of stress related to money, trying to afford bills and which things to prioritise and medical expenses for the kids, etc., etc. Yeah, so it's a good place to be. And when you're a team and you pull together, it just works. You know, we're a good team.
So how stressful was it before in terms of managing your bills, you know, every fortnight?
Well, we had good incomes, but it was just, money just seemed to disappear, go down the drain. It wasn't managed. So that's the worst thing, you know. When you can't say in your hand on your heart, where's all the money going? So, you know, you're quite diligent, you keep your monthly books, you keep your spreadsheet, your wealth, whatever you call it, the wealth predictor, tracker. That's, wealth tracker. Yeah, it works. It works just to be mindful of what you've got and where it's going.
So this should be fairly obvious, but who manages the money in our relationship?
I make it and you manage it. No, we both make it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I just wanted a reaction.
Yeah, baiting me a bit there, Neil. Are you comfortable with me managing most of the money?
Well, you love it, so why would I fight you for that? You love money, you love working out where it's going, what it's doing, tracking it, you love understanding all the ins and outs, you love saving $1, you know, so I just go along with it. Happy wife, happy life, you know.
If something happened to me, would you know where to find all the information?
Oh, I've got the little book with passwords. I'm sure I'd find it all, make it work.
Maybe I need to sit you down and show you in a lot of detail.
Yeah, occasionally. It's just some of the bills that come in. I don't know about your bank accounts, but I can pay mine. Yeah.
So, if you say suddenly won $1 million, what would you spend it on?
I'd probably put it away, most of it away for a year to think about it, because as soon as you get it, you just blow it. So you just lock it away in a high interest account. I don't know, at our stage of life, probably a few more trips or something. Not going to waste it on anything else. I don't think we need to move or anything. $1 million doesn't go that far. Now, if it was $100 million, it might be a different question.
Well, actually, you had a family member who won some money, a fair bit of money.
Oh, yeah, my dad won money and he never told anyone. About 50 grand on the lotto. Oh, this is back in the 80s or 90s, and he just never told anyone. Went on holiday with mum, never told us kids. And, yeah, put a bit on a mortgage and just kept on living like normal. Which is understandable. It was only 50,000, but back then 50,000 was a fair bit of money.
You honestly had no idea how he afforded this trip and things like that?
They went to the UK, had a big holiday over there. I think that was when he won it. He was a bit cagey about it all, but it's just the way they are. They're comfortable. They don't want the families to automatically come around or give us a loan of this or give us a loan of that. They didn't want any of that stuff, but that's what can happen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a problem, isn't it? Like, some people are very good at managing their money, but others just blow it.
Yeah. Cigarettes and smokes, etc. Yeah.
It's easy enough.
I mean, alcohol and cigarettes, you know. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we can move on.
So, what are the things that you are willing to spend more money on?
I don't know. I like good quality clothes, but you know, I go to Costco most of the time, get some clothes there, or when I'm out, I find some stuff on special. I'm like you. I wear things out. You know, they're threadbare when they go in the bin. There's no point giving them to salvos unless they're good for rags. But you know, I don't waste a lot. I have spent some money on some Raiders merchandise, like a Hawaiian shirt and some other stuff. And recently, when I was in Nagasaki for work, I bought a lovely retro red and white striped shirt. I like that. It looks like something out of the 70s, so that'll come in handy. And recently, we've bought a new car because we're getting to that age. Our other car's 10 plus years old, getting some kilometres on it. We've got a learner driver coming through who will probably drive. So we're going to need a second car because he's going to be independent and he's going to borrow mum's car or whatever we want to call it. And in the situation, I can salary sacrifice with no FBT and EV, so we did that. And looks like we're saving a fair bit of money on fuel, just got to cover the lease costs for now. But I'm on a high tax bracket, so saving a bit of money on tax doesn't hurt me anyway. The government can help and assist. So
what was the process? Because I know this, we talked a lot about it before we decided which car to buy and how much it was going to cost. Like, what was your process for doing research and working out the end cost and which...
You know me, I do a lot of web searches, articles, reviews, YouTube clips, all this sort of stuff. So I settled on a BYD C-Line 7 because it's a good sized car for us and they had some pretty good values. It's sort of compatible to the Tesla Model Y, but Tesla comes out of China and Australia anyway, and this one comes out of China, but you wouldn't touch a Tesla because you don't like the branding, I suppose, the people around it. And so we looked at this one, and they had I think it was a $3,500 discount, and then I got a $35,000 Qantas frequent flyer points on these other things, and then the GST comes off of that as well. So the price comes down to not much over around $45,000. So it's pretty good value for an EV, and it's a bloody nice car. So we really enjoy driving it, and it's just another generational leap on that old Ford territory, but which is still a good car. But yeah, our stepson, or my stepson, your son will, if it's like my kids, he'll crash it and we'll write it off, because that's what seems to happen with these kids. They have so having a lot of metal around him, I'm happy. That's just my experience. Yeah.
So going back to honour the old car, so what was the process that you went through when we bought the Ford Territory? So we got married in 2018. And
yeah, I had
I had a
D-Max Ute that was a manual, You could barely drive it because you're so short. Your bum was all the way forward on the seat. Your leg was fully extended to get the clutch into the firewall, and it was, So we on-sold that to my son-in-law, who needed a new vehicle, and
I gave my car away to my dad, so we went from 2 cars to 1.
And that helped. Then prior to getting rid of the car, I actually was watching the pickled auctions and seeing that there was Falcons and Territories with a good 6-cylinder petrol engine in them going reasonably cheap. So I kept an eye on it, and I thought, I'll put a bid in. And then I actually won a bid for a Ford Territory 6-cylinder with 38,000 kilometres on it. I think I won the bid at $16,500. They asked me to come up to the reserve of 17, which a couple $100 I might as well. The time we landed it here, $500 up from Melbourne, and then put the rego on it. We're at about 19 grand, which is pretty good for a car with only 38,000 kilometres on it. And we've had that since 2019, I think.
At least early 2019, yeah.
January 2019, so that's 7 years, and it hasn't missed a beat. Good maintenance. We maintain it every 10,000 kilometres as an oil change and other stuff. I've got a good mechanic that looks after it, so that's all we can do. And it's 175,000, and it's running very well. It's a very good car.
You helped me crunch all the numbers in. I think both my first and I think also my third book about transport and how much we saved by running one car and running it well. So what are some neologisms for having a car and running it fairly cheaply?
Well, maintenance is the biggest thing. If you don't maintain your car, you're just going to kill it, and then you've got big bills fixing it. So, these car manufacturers that say 15, 20, 25,000 kilometre services, that's just ridiculous. Should be somewhere between 7,500 and 10,000 kilometre services. So I'm doing one at 10,000, the manufacturer's 15,000. So a little bit extra, but all breaks down, wear and tear. It's just the thing you've got to do. You've got to have a robust car, not something that's sporty, avoid turbos, avoid CVTs. There's all these different types of cars that just cause headaches later in life. If you're buying a second-hand car with 100,000 kilometres on it and it's got a turbo and a constant variable transmission and it's got a, say, Nissan badge on it or something, you're just buying trouble, you're buying heartache. So you just got to check out some YouTubers and stuff like that for reviews. There's a great website called Redriven, which I follow and like what they do. They keep away. Well, their advice basically aligns with mine. Stick with Japanese as much as you can. Although I bought an Australian car, which is a bit of a different story. But the Territory was based on the Falcon, which was used by taxis companies in Australia for many, many years. 1 million miles on those cars is not unheard of. So it's a robust car. So, don't go after the Euro trash, as I call it, the fancy little things, because
I've offended at least one friend who did buy a Euro trash recently. Actually, I don't think I passed on that word, but passed on the vibe of it.
Well, they're just over-engineered, over-complicated, over-expensive for spare parts. I had made it with an Audi Q7, and his headlight cost $5,000, and all because he hit a galah. They cracked his headlight, had to buy a whole assembly. It's ridiculous.
You did, I think, in our first year of dating, and I decided that we'd go to the theatre, and we drove there. And do you remember you backing into the BMW with the plug?
Yeah, I should have backed into the car park, but I drove in front first with the D-Max, had the turbo at the back, and I backed out, and I didn't see how far I went. I just split the grille apart a little bit. Anyway, had to look like, but not really any damage, but it just scratched the chrome, and they had to replace the whole front end of this BMW, so it went to an insurance claim. Insurance is a very valuable thing too. Don't skimp on insurance. Make sure you get good quality insurance, comprehensive, because I've hit kangaroos and things like that and written the front end off the car and had to get it fixed, and having insurance.
That was a big one, that one.
Yeah. He's a big kangaroo. Anyway. So, yeah. I like to keep it simple. Stupid is the way I call it, KISS principle. And if you keep it simple, don't go for anything too fancy, don't spend thousands of dollars lowering the car, putting mag wheels on it, doing all this sort of stuff, because it's just a depreciation asset. It won't grow in value. And no matter what you do to it, it's not going to grow in value unless you buy something classic, like, A9X Tirana or a XY GTHO Falcon, or a Charger or something like that. They're the only things that are going to appreciate if you look after them. But most cars that most kids get, don't waste your money on doing stuff to them. Just drive them, maintain them well, and look after it. Have some sympathy for it, and it'll look after you. That's what. Yeah.
Well said. So what are you enjoying about the new car? And have you regretted the purchase at all? Has it been a good purchase with the new car?
With the BYD seal, it's got some fancy little tricks on it. I can press the remote for 5 seconds and it'll start up and warm up, and then get in the car. It's already hot and defrosted in Canberra. That's great for winter. Got little heated seats and nice leather interior. It's very plush inside. Like, I've never owned a car that plush. It's got tremendous performance. It's got pretty good range, around 500 kilometres. It's cheap to charge at home. We try to charge during the day when the solar's out, but every now and then we do it overnight with a little granny charger, which is about 1400 kilowatts at its rate that it's charging at. 1400 watts, not kilowatts, 1.4 kilowatts. What else does it do? I don't know, it's got good driver safety, it's comfortable, it's solid on the road, it's got great pickup, it's got a lovely sunroof, the kids have got plenty of room in the back. It's just a nice car. I did skimp. I didn't do the $1,500 OEM camera from the dealer. I went to AliExpress and got the $70 camera OEM one and installed it myself with a thumb drive. So for less than like $85, I've got the OEM camera working on it, and just found information on YouTube how to do it instead of paying $1,500.
What does the camera do?
That's a dash cam. It records as we're driving along and gives you all the metrics, because it's fully integrated. It gives you all the speed you're going and indicators and lights and all the sort of metrics that are going on.
And
time and stuff.
I know you did all the sums for this, but how did the salary sacrificing stack up for this car?
I think per fortnight it's somewhere around, I haven't seen the pay slip yet, but it's about $500 a fortnight coming out gross, but the take-home pay is only like $350 difference because of the tax benefits. So in theory, I'm saving $150 tax by buying this, but that's offsetting the cost that I'm paying out on my pay packet. So so it's only really costing me like $175 a week or something, so somewhere around there.
And then plus the reduced cost of petrol.
Yeah, and servicing. Like, its first service is 20,000 kilometres 1 year, and it's like $350 or something. It's a scheduled service cost, because I suppose I check the wiper fluids in your wipers and make sure nothing's going wrong. Bit of a battery health check, maybe update some software, whatever they do. But it's not like you're swapping out oils and filters and other things, but there will be air filter boxes and stuff that probably get replaced. But at 20,000, it's probably just a good look over.
Excellent. So, most of our friends have noticed that we take a lot of holidays. So holidays is something that I know is very important to you. And I know also you love cruises. So what are some of the tips that we use for getting good deals on cruises?
Well, I think the best deal we've got recently with Royal Caribbean is book on the ship before you leave, because especially early out, we've got a cruise coming up that what we're paying for a couple is what they're asking now for a single, so it's almost half price, which is tremendous. But other thing is, you look around, like Tripadil does cruises, there's all these deals on Oz Cruising or Cruise Guru. You just shop around like most people, but most of the time we just look for a good sale with the cruise company as well. But we did a cruise recently where we waited too long and we couldn't get the cruise, so we had to go through my friend's cruise website, Kathy CJ Potter, I think she calls herself or something. Yeah. So we went through hers and we got a cabin app, because sometimes there are unsold cabins with online cruise travel agencies and stuff. So it's other thing, but yeah, just shop around. That's all you can do. Don't waste your money on too many add-ons. You know, we might book if it's a difficult port, we'll book a tour through the cruise company so we can get off with a tender early and all that sort of stuff. But most of the time we'll just walk onto the port and go for an explore and see what we can do. Have a bit of a look beforehand. You know, I buy the internet because Serina can't live without the internet. But buy that Crier to get it at a discount.
It's really expensive.
But you can't live without it, so we have to have it.
Well, especially the one next year that's 21 days. 21 days without, internet.
I've already bought the internet package because it was a 40% sale. So, what else is there? We don't bother with drinks packages because
that was my next question.
We don't drink that much. Like, the most I'd have on a big night is probably half a dozen drinks, so it's nowhere near worth it. And even, we'll buy a couple of bottles.
They were on sale recently. I don't know if you saw the email. It might still be on sale. And it was like a massive discount of about half price. But even with that, you're looking at about, for our cruise coming up, I think it was about like $1,900. And that would have been Australian dollars, I think, for that one, but usually they're US dollars. And that's each. So, like, you're talking about $4,000 for two people to drink, which is crazy.
So we take our 2 bottles of wine on board with us. We take some soft drinks, especially if the kids are with us. But with Royal Caribbean, we've hit Diamond stage, so we get 4 free drinks a day for free anyway, so included. So that's more than enough, I think.
Well, as you know, I am not a big drinker. And I try and limit it to 1 drink a day when I'm on cruises. It's not so much the alcohol, it's also the sugars. Like, I mean, I like a good pina colada, and Royal Caribbean particularly does that really well. But, like, if you're having, like, 10 of those a day, like, it's just too much. It's like an occasional treat. It's not like an everyday thing.
Yeah, because you're a Cadbury, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't drink that much anyway. So.
Glass and a half, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's just shop around for your cruises. Don't waste your time at the spas and saunas. They're just a rip-off, as you experienced.
We were on a cruise once and I went, look, let's just go and have a look, because I've never had a look before. And they did not let me go for an hour. And I just wanted to have a look. It was just crazy. And then they were hounding me constantly. And
there's always the upsell. You got to buy this special cream or this or that. No, I don't do any of that sort of stuff. We just love the music, love the entertainment, love the food, love chilling out with each other, love going up top deck for walking tracks. We even played pickleball and Zumba on the last one and a whole heap of different things, and just meeting people as well. Yeah, you don't have to glam up and go to these spa treatments and whatever. I did a couples massage once in a previous life, and the upsell was so tremendous, I just had to walk out, because my wife will look after that. She'll buy that stuff. I didn't want it. It wasn't cheap either, like $180 for cream or something they were trying to flog. Yeah, it's It's not good. So just be aware of that stuff.
Well, and it's not just that either. It's all the jewellery and all the merch, all the T-shirts and this, that and the other.
Sometimes you can find some bargains down there, but, you know, most of it's rubbish. Most of the chains are plated or something. There's nothing. You know, but you bought some jewellery because we had all this onboard credit we hadn't spent. So, remember that one? And
yeah, I do. We had leftover money. It was an unusual one that we had leftover money, and we had to spend it on board. And with that one, we'd had quite a lot of onboard cruise credits. So we'd actually even had a non-alcoholic drinks package.
Yeah, Bubbles one.
Can you see me, Mike? Mine has just suddenly blacked. There we go.
No, I can hear you. You just sort of locked up for a bit. It's all right.
Yeah, so that we had a non-alcoholic drinks package, and it sort of made sense because we had the onboard credit and we needed to use that. But even with that, I don't think I would use it because it was really hard to stop my kids drinking soft drink. I mean, they're teenagers, so...
Well,
and they're very aware of sugar and sugar content, and they weren't that bad, but I just sort of thought, yeah, there's only so much soft drink you can drink as well per day.
Well, we tend to take some ginger beers, which help a little bit if you feel a bit queasy, some sugar-free, watery things. That's about it with us, because you can take 12 each. That's including the kids.
We wouldn't normally drink that much, like they're special treats. So
there's usually cordial on board, or tea, coffee, juices in the morning. There's always milk if you're that way inclined, I suppose. But yeah, you buy some stuff now and then. But yeah, just be aware of things. Like we'll buy a few beers or a bottle of wine rather than glasses of wine, like at dinner, and then leave it there, or take it back to the room with us, or take it to the next bar with us to watch some music. And yeah, a bottle of wine for $40-50 isn't too bad. It's equivalent of 6 drinks. Yeah.
So what about other international travel? What are some of your tips and tricks for saving money?
We use a up card for money exchange, so we hit an ATM, pull cash out. I don't bother putting it into the local currency before I go. I just pull it out in the local currency there and let up card actually exchange from Aussie dollars to that, because otherwise if you're putting in and out you get these exchange rate things. So I'll just leave it all as Aussie dollars on my card and just grab it out the ATM at the other end. When we went to Rome with the trip deal we did with Puglia and Amalfi Coast and Greek Island cruise, I was amazed at the exchange rate. I got this euros out and it said 60.5 was the exchange rate. I went on to Google then and had a look at what the actual official exchange rate for that day was, and it was 61. So it only cost me like half a euro cent to exchange, and it was accepted everywhere. It did everything. It works on the Wise technology, so people have Wise cards as well. It's the same sort of thing. But yeah, we just preload that and use that while travelling. Works well. We always either get physical SIMs from my old phone, or Serina's been getting eSIMs now, so they work quite well.
Because I have a new phone.
Yeah.
So we might look at other episode talking about mobile phones as well, but anyway.
we might look at a Gig Sky eSIM for when we go on the cruise, just to do a comparison with the Wi-Fi and the Gig Sky, just to see how well it works. So, because that's like you buy so many gigs of data for a month, and it works through the cellular at sea system. So some people say it works all right just for emails and checking little things. You can't do streaming over it and stuff, but half the time all we want to do is check the news. That's all I really do, read the news and stay up to date with stuff. But no, we had a great trip with a Tripper deal, which was awesome, because you end up with a bus full of Aussies. They're all similar age groups, from, there was 30-year-olds or even younger girls that were like in their 20s, right through to 70-plus-year-olds.
Because as you know, with those two lovely ladies in their early 20s, we were at Amalfi, I think, and we bumped into them and we had lunch together, and then other people assumed that we were their parents. It was really cute.
Yeah, it was. But no, we met a lot of people similar. There was paramedics, there was engineers, there was a guy that was a chief off one of the TK boats, so I had a little bit of knowledge of what he did. There's a whole heap of different guys, and yeah. But the biggest thing we had was going around, just lots of walking, and then the cruise. I actually enjoyed the cruise a bit more than the trip around Italy. So going around the Greek islands, that was a bit of an adventure. And we worked out the MSC cruise package where you got drinks in the restaurants only for €15 a day. So how can you beat that for a drinks package? Not saying when it's valued, we get it.
This is the first and only time we've ever had an alcohol drinks package.
But we were paying $7 for a glass of Prosecco, and bottled water, and we got told by some other Aussies, there's this drink package at the restaurants, and boom, all us Aussies were on it for €15 a day. Some of them were that good that they'd go up to the buffet after lunch and continue on till about 4 o'clock until the buffet closed. Go and have a lie down, then come to dinner, and then start over and go ahead of the buffet again after dinner.
Yeah. Not being a big drinker, I didn't quite get my money's worth from it, but I know a lot of people did.
Oh, you had some soft drinks and that, but it was basically beer, wine, soft drinks, effectively. It was good.
They managed to find some ginger ale for me, which was good. Now, Neil, I always ask my guests to provide a Frugalista tip to share, but because I know you've already provided a lot of Frugalista tips, I thought I would ask you a series of rapid-fire questions. Now, some of these questions you've answered already while we've been talking, but I'm going to go and we're going to try them anyway. So, you ready?
Okay. Yep.
So, who do you follow in the NRL?
Canberra Raiders.
Op shop shoes, yes or no?
Depends. Very dependent. They've got to look brand new and they've got to feel brand new, and they give them a good squeeze of the rubber, make sure there's no cracking. But yeah, I don't like the idea of putting my feet in other people's shoes. I don't know, it's just me. You can do whatever makes you comfortable, but I'll just go and get a $30, $50 pair at Costco or something.
Takeaway coffees at work, yes or no?
Occasionally. It's a good social thing to do with your team, but not every day, not 3 every day, maybe once or twice a week. Just take your instant coffee with you, or your pod coffee, or whatever you've got access to. Save you a shitload of money.
You travel a lot with work. What's your big hack for cooking in an apartment or a unit?
Well, if you haven't got a cooking facilities or whatever, go to Kmart and get a $20 sandwich toaster, because you can cook steaks, you can cook bacon, you can cook eggs, you can cook toasties, you can cook a lot of stuff on those. Yeah. Don't try to use the iron or anything silly like that, or chuck eggs in the jug and boil them. It's just not worth it. So yeah, $20 for a sandwich toaster helps. You can even do pies on them.
How do you do pies on them?
You just put the frozen pie in there and then close the toaster on it, and then come back 5 minutes or so and it's done.
Too easy.
Yeah.
So markdown meat at the supermarket, yes or no?
Yeah, just look at it, and it's not going to be smelly or anything. You'll be right. Beef's probably better. Chickens you've got to be careful with. Yeah. So as long as it's got a couple of days on it, you'll be right. Just whack it straight in the freezer. Don't let it sit in your fridge.
Reusing the last bits in a tube of toothpaste, yes or no?
Yeah, you always squeeze every little bit you can out. It's good for the environment. Don't want to waste it. Same with shampoo bottles. Add a little bit more extra water if you need to get a little bit more off the bottom. No, we all do stuff like that. Well, most people do.
Most people. Not everyone, you'd be surprised. So, moving to the kitchen. Keeping an old sponge in the kitchen, yes or no?
When it starts falling apart and looking really, really sad, just throw it out and get another one.
Eating dodgy leftovers in the fridge, yes or no?
Depends how long it's been there. give it a good whiff test. If it passes that, whack it in the microwave because the microwave kills everything, then heat it up. So it's a good tip to... My family had these lamb chops that were a bit funny once when I was at work. This is mum and dad. When I was a kid, and I came home and we just got a microwave, so I heated my meal up in the microwave. Next morning, everyone had the trots, and all was good, so I had to go down and get all the Imodium and stuff like that from the chemist. But I think because it went in the microwave, it just irradiated it and killed the bacteria.
Wearing socks or underwear with holes in them?
I have some holy ones, but they usually end up in the bin. They get quite thin first, but yeah. I don't really have any socks with holes in them. Modern socks don't do that anyway. Keep your toenails cut and you're fine.
What about old glass jars? To keep, yes or no?
They do come in handy, but there's got to be a limit. Depends what your wife's got to pickle and to bottle and all that sort of stuff, but she might not have noticed that a few disappeared when we moved.
A few disappeared after we moved too.
Yeah, because we had that many of them. Yeah.
So, best hack for a home-cooked meal?
Well, our boys like protein. So I go to Costco and get a whole blade. It's usually, I got one the other day, $20 a kilo. And I dissected it, got the gristle out of it, the sinew off of it, and made some nice steaks. And they cooked up very, very well, and the boys are very happy. That's good. Good way to get some quality meat. $20 a kilo is pretty good for steak. What else is there? Potatoes. We just get whichever potatoes are the cheapest. Dirty potatoes that generally keep longer. Ones with dirt on them. Don't have to have washed. You can wash them yourself. A lot of stuff out of the garden. I'm not sure what else you'd be after.
I think that's a pretty good hack right there. So, thank you very much for being my guest. That is it with the rapid fire questions. And thank you for being my husband and being on this frugal journey.
Thank you for being my wife. Could I just acknowledge one thing before we go? Mm-hmm. Our friend Joe McGrail-Bateup died recently very suddenly. He was the intro voice for the Joyful Frugalista and outro voice for many years. He will be greatly missed. And here's to you, Joe. Love you, mate.
Thank you, honey. And yes, I also wish to pay my respects to Joseph McGrail-Bateup.
What's going on?
It's not stopping for some reason.
Yeah, my mouse has stopped responding.
Oh, also too, you just leave that. Hang on, let me just stop this first. I don't know why it's not leaving. It's weird. Yeah. But hang on, I'm just going to leave this totally. I just don't know whether it's going to stop the... It's weird because... Yeah, it's still recording on my end though. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to leave it.